Okay, it appears to be 7:30, so I will now call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone, to the City of West Miami Regular City Commission Hybrid Meeting. Today is Wednesday, April the 7th, 2021, and it is 7:30 p.m. Madam Clerk, if you would direct everyone on how to join this meeting via Zoom conferencing, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everyone. This hybrid meeting is conducted pursuant to resolution approved by the City Commission on October 30, 2020. The instructions to participate in the virtual commission meeting. This City Commission meeting is held as a virtual meeting with elected officials and city staff participating through video conferencing and in person. Members of the public may join the meeting via Zoom at https://zoom.us/j/3255236059. For live remote public comments, the person wishing to submit public comments will appear live on the TV screens in the commission chambers during the meeting and will be afforded 3 minutes to speak. Please submit your first and last name for the record. Instructions to access the commission meeting by phone: first dial 1301-715-8592. When you connect, a machine will ask you for the meeting ID, then dial 325-523-6059. Followed by a pound sign. Wait a few minutes until the host accepts and gives you access to the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And for the invocation this evening, Madam Manager.
Thank you. Please rise. Let's bow our heads this evening and pray to our Lord for the well-being of all our city residents and those who labor for the greater good of the city and our residents. Tonight, we pray for peace in our communities. We pray for our law enforcement officers and firefighters who make our community a safe place to live, work, and play. We pray for our leaders so that they're able to make the best decisions for our city and those areas that they represent. We pray for those who served in our armed forces, protecting our nation and our freedoms. Today, we ask God to continue bestowing his blessings upon the city of West Miami on this, our 74th birthday since our incorporation as a municipality. Lastly, we pray for world peace, unity, and especially we ask for a moment of silence in respect and honoring the life of resident Roman Boss, who passed away from an injury a couple days ago. And we pray for him and his family so that they can find peace, comfort, and acceptance in the passing of Roman Boss. We pray for his wife, Graciela, and his retired firefighter Captain Roman Boss Jr. and his family. And we ask this in your name. Amen.
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 Thank you, Madam Manager. For the Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Attorney.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, item 3, roll call. Mayor Rhonda Rodriguez,
Present.
Vice Mayor Eric Diaz-Padrón.
Here.
Commissioner Candida Blanca.
Yes.
Commissioner Juan Blanes.
Present.
Commissioner Luciano Suarez.
Yes.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 4, presentation of minutes for approval for March 17, 2021, regular commission hybrid meeting.
Motion. Need a second, please?
Second.
Thank you.
Are all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Presentation of minutes for approval for March 30th, 2021, special commission hybrid meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Are all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 5, public comments. I have not received as of right now, Madam Mayor, any requests for public comments from the public by email or phone.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and I see no one on the conference. Mr. Elliott? Oh, and Elliot has just advised me he doesn't have a comment this evening either. Welcome, Elliot. I did not see you snuck in on me. Welcome. Madam Clerk, as always, if anyone were to email you or call, please let me know to make their public comments available.
Duly
Okay.
noted.
Next item, please.
Item 6, report of the city manager.
Good evening, Miss Mayor Rhonda Rodriguez, Vice Mayor Eric Diaz-Padrón, members of the City Commission. I have a verbal report tonight, and I'd like to go on record to say that we did receive the revised COVID safety guidelines from Miami-Dade County Mayor Levine Cava's office, and it's a guidebook for residents and commercial establishments. I think the real big ticket item, right, that we have taken away from the guideline is the issue of the curfew. I believe that the chief is already informed of the guidelines and what the department needs to do. We will work with Mr. Pena and Mr. Garcia to make sure that the business owners are made aware of the curfew and the guidelines, especially those who have restaurants and evening businesses that are open so that they can adhere to the new norm. We are waiting. I had a conversation with John last night, John Michael Lopez. We are waiting for the new guidelines from the South Florida Parks Coalition. We believe that the next meeting, which is scheduled for next week, correct, John? I believe it's Tuesday or Thursday of next week. Thursday. We will have Thursday. We will have a pretty good idea of where we're going in terms of summer camp. We have about 40 to 42 kids at any time after school, and we are preparing, we're working with a waiting list for parents to be able to place their children in school, as many of them have the need to return to work, and we're finding that more people are looking for a place for their children to do their after school care activities for now. And as well, they are making calls to the rec center to see if we're going to have any type of summer camp activity. It may be reduced, the activity may be reduced, but we have a feeling, John and I have a feeling that we will see the Parks Coalition come up with a plan that would enable a smaller group of summer campers. And so we have gone over some ideas to reduce the number of field trips, but to bring field trips to the rec center. So we've got some ideas, and I've asked John to put together a memo and maybe some ideas as discussed that would help us to be prepared in the event that they lift the level of restrictions as we get closer to the summer months. So we will continue to keep you posted. We are continuing the sanitation efforts at the rec center, and the rec center is extremely active, especially after 5 o'clock in the evening until the closing of the park. The leagues are playing. There's a lot of activity at the rec. So we're kind of waiting, and then after the meeting with the South Florida Parks Coalition, we intend to do a survey of cities similar in size to ours and see what they're doing. We're going to interchange ideas to see what they're planning to do with their summer camp program, because we do have to plan staff-wise, and we have to plan for the children, the activities, and we need to start booking some of these activities. I can tell you that I would encourage us to look at an opportunity to bring, like I said, programs to the children at the park. And that's what we're exploring now, if in fact we're able to have summer camp. In terms of the community center, and Evelyn Paz asked to be excused, our program director, because she actually took a small group of senior citizens to the theater tonight for the new movie, which is a Spanish movie called Plantados. A former city engineer of the city donated 10 tickets to go see the movies. And I can tell you that Evelyn immediately gathered a group of residents and she's chaperoning them at the movie theater tonight, which tells us that these seniors are willing and they're ready to return to a sense of normalcy. So our driver took them and they should be getting back home shortly after 8 p.m.
Oh, they're ready. I have many of them that have asked me, when are we out
Yes.
opening? So they are definitely ready.
And so we have some ideas that we'll proffer when the time comes. And obviously the guidebook doesn't speak to the issue of community centers in details, because I believe that they're waiting for the orders given by the governor on the possibility of reopening our centers in the near future, which would be excellent for our seniors in more ways than one. And the rest, we will be working with the guidelines. On another note, passport services have exceeded all previous years and all of our expectations over the last 30 days. As such, we have made minor changes to our hours of operation. Mayor, I reported that to you earlier today. And we have reduced the number of applications that will be accepted on a daily basis, with the exception of Tuesdays, which is our normal day for late passport hours. While the revenues are good for the city, the business of the city is by far and must continue to be our priority. So changes have been made and approved by the Miami Passport Agency, and they have been published as well and reflected on the city's website. We have posted a notice, and we will continue to educate people on the issue of passport services. I have to tell you that my hat off to all the ladies that work in this office that have put their best foot forward in terms of attending to the public, keeping up with the city business. They're working long hours, and they have produced a substantial amount of money for the city, because that category had been lagging in revenues because of the COVID situation. I don't know why people are processing that many passports. I think everybody is ready, willing, and able to travel once these restrictions are lifted. So that being said, I would be remiss if I didn't mention their hard work and their dedication to the cause here. So that's that on passport services. If you have any questions, and we'll send out a memo, but the details are included in the passport link. The minute you open up the website, to your right corner, there's the passport information that has been accepted already by the Miami Passport Agency. If you have no questions, the next item on my report is Monday, April 12th. As I have discussed with you, I'm going to have, I'm scheduled for a very minor surgery. And in my absence on Monday, I designate Mercedes Leon as the acting city manager. As customary, all rules, procedures, and policies will remain in effect. I will take my laptop home. I will be checking in with the city. If I'm comfortable enough, I'll come in. Otherwise, I should be in on Tuesday. That pretty much concludes my verbal report. If anyone has any questions, please ask.
Are there any questions at all for the city manager on her report? Seeing and hearing none, thank you, Madam Manager, for that very detailed report, as always. Madam Clerk, what is the next item on our agenda?
Item 7, report of the city attorney.
Mr. Attorney,
Am I on mute?
you're not now.
Okay. Well, good evening. And yes, after the special meeting that we had to approve the settlement that have been offered by the insurance company that represents Synergy, we met with the city manager and drafted a memorandum to the agency, and we're expecting to receive the amount that we had accepted as settlement for the special for the piercing of the sewer pipe last year.
Fantastic news. Thank you, sir. And as I said in the last meeting, thank you all that worked so hard on, on bringing that to a closure and in a good way for us. So thank you for your hard work. Any questions for the attorney on his report? Hearing and seeing none, Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 8, report of the city engineer.
I don't believe the engineer is present this evening. I don't see him.
So no report.
No report.
Item 9, committee reports. Report of the mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and I just wanted to make mention to my colleagues how important it is that we all stay abreast of what's going on in Tallahassee. As I stated in the meeting when we had our legislative consultants on, there are a lot of bills that are up there that are trying to preempt our local government. So it is in our best interest that we all familiarize ourselves with those and stay aware of what's going on, because once again, legislative session is the legislature is in session, and a lot of bills are attempting to preempt local government. So that's all I have, Madam Clerk. Next item.
Item 10, unfinished business. Item 10A, report by the Office of the City Manager in reference to sanitation reserves as requested by Mayor Rodriguez at the March 3rd, 2021. This item was postponed at the March 17, 2021 Commission meeting.
Madam Clerk, if I may,
Yes.
I'd like to hold A, B, item D and E for the end of the agenda, because I do believe that's going to take a while, and I'd like to take Mr. Tony Newell out of order, his presentation. I'd
Yes.
like to move him up now, the top of the agenda, and then those items will be towards at the end of the agenda. We'll take them
Okay,
all.
Madam Mayor. Okay, item 10C, presentation by Resource City by Tony Newell, CEO. This item was postponed at the March 17, 2021 Commission meeting.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor and Mr. Vice Mayor and Commissioners and City staff. Appreciate you affording me the opportunity to speak to you today. I know you have important business to get to after this, so I promise to keep it very brief. I give a presentation for you. For the record, I'm Tony Newell. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Resource City. So I'll wait for the presentation to come up, and it should only maybe take about 5 or 10 minutes to run everyone through something.
Mr. Q, if you can bring up the presentation. There we go.
Great. Okay. So Resourcity is a startup that Miami-based, and it focuses on building solutions that strengthen communities, particularly citizen-focused solutions. So what I'm here to discuss with you today is a pilot program that we're conducting with several municipalities here in South Florida, and a program that we are inviting the city of West Miami to participate in. Before I get into the pilot and the product, I wanted to give you a little bit of background on us. So if I could have the next slide, please. So as I said, we're a South Florida-based company that builds fully integrated, citizen-driven GovTech solutions. What does that mean? We build tools for you, software tools for local governments, but we really focus on the citizen either as a key piece or the end user of the product. We don't build things that are very clumsy and with lots of bells and whistles that we hand off to you and to just say, hey, have fun, hope it works for you. We try to build things that really factor in the citizen or that go to the citizen first, so that we bring something of value to you. That's sort of our philosophy as a company. Next slide. The reason we do that is because we think citizens are essentially an underutilized resource. And local governments can do much more to encourage citizens to participate in government, participate in community events, support local businesses. And so we want to build tools for you that help you do that. So the next thing to get to is one of the tools that I'm presenting to you today. This is a tool that the city of West Miami is welcome to use in a pilot term. And this is a tool that's going to fit into something larger, which I'll present just after. So please, next slide. So the first product we built is called Citigrader. Citigrader is an enterprise solution, meaning we give it to you and you run it. It's a citizen feedback solution that's different from maybe some of the others you've seen, because what it does is it focuses on 3D interactions. What that means is we capture a blind spot that most other systems have. You have building inspectors, you have code compliance officers, employees out there every day interacting with the public, and there's no email chain, there's no phone call record, there's nothing to document that experience. And those are some of the most important interactions. And so what we've done is we built a tool that helps capture that interaction. And so what we do is we take a QR code, which is one of those codes you can scan with your iPhone or your smartphone, and that QR code links to a survey that is linked to that employee. So next slide, please. So when you take a QR code, and this QR code would be placed on your city collateral, for instance, a business card. You take this QR code and the city employee hands it to somebody. That resident or guest can take that QR code, scan it, and they'll have a survey pop up. That survey is customizable, so the city can make it whatever it wants to be. We have some best practice questions for you, but the citizen would then take that survey, submit it, and then that survey goes straight to your department. It goes straight to your city's overall ombudsman. It goes to the employee, and the resident gets a copy of that survey. Next slide, please. In addition to employees, we also cover location. So you can have signage that we make for you in your parks that have QR codes that link to surveys about those parks. How's the park doing? Anything we can improve upon? How often do you come here? Get some demographic information. We have signage for your departments. We even have signage for events. So for instance, in Coral Gables, Burgerlicious or Carnival on the Mile, we can make surveys that aim at that specific event, so the city can know how to do a better job the next time. Next slide, please. It's a very, very simple piece of software. So we're working with several cities. We've been working with the city of Miami. One of the requirements has been, we want a really light lift. And I've spoken to staff with the city of West Miami here, and we've designed it so that essentially all you have to do is just take the cards, put them out in the wild, and let them do their thing. We'll handle the rest for you. If you don't have someone who can handle a dashboard, we can handle the dashboard for you. If you give us the information you want, if you give us the surveys you want, we're happy to do that for the city of West Miami. But if you did want to do it yourself, the very, very basic dashboard that lets you control which surveys are out there, what the survey questions are, it lets you export the data for public record, et cetera, it lets you have an email list of people who will be informed when a survey comes in, typical things you would get for a piece of software like this. Next. So unique benefits of this are you have an emphasis on the citizen. What we try to do is make this something that the citizen, when they see this, when they're handed a business card from a city employee, and they see in the back of that card a call to action that says, hey, we want to know how we did. And there's a QR code, and they scan it, and they get a nice, pretty, well-designed survey. It lets the citizen know that the city's actually trying. It's also a third-party system. Most cities don't actually have a formal feedback system. The ones we work with, some of the ones that do, it's homegrown, and we found that when we polled citizens before, they don't necessarily trust them, because if the city's running its own feedback system, the feedback's not good, it tends to get swept under the rug, or so citizens perceive that to be the case. We have a public-facing option for increased transparency. So we have a website, citigrader.com. If the city wanted to, it can take all of the surveys it received and publish them. So there's increased transparency. It doesn't have to, but it's a resource that's there for you. Peer-to-peer comparison. So you have other cities that are in the program that you'll be able to compare data with, see how you're doing versus them. Survey metadata, we don't collect personal identifiable information, but we do collect information such as IP address, when the survey comes in, from where. That helps us validate these surveys. You have an unlimited number, so you can make as many as you want. You can customize them any way you want. And then the last part I'll get into, actually will be with the next slide, that will be future integration to the Restore City Civic Engagement app. Before I move on to that, I just want to emphasize one thing about Citigrader. These QR codes that we place on the cards, they'll have a URL, an address underneath. So if someone can't scan it, they can always enter it like many people do to access them. In addition to that, every single QR code is unique. If we do this on purpose and we do this to protect the employee, that means if an employee has 300 business cards in their pocket, each business card will have a unique QR code on it, but that points to the same survey. That way, if a citizen takes a survey, they scan the QR code and they take it, that survey comes in, the system logs it to that QR code. That citizen says, hey, I had a bad experience. Sir, could you please pile on and give this person a bad grade? Our system's gonna say, hold on, you already used that QR code. That's a used code and it'll flag that survey. So you know that this is a pile on. So it helps us verify the information. Knowing when the surveys come in, having metadata also lets us know that if an inspector is out and he's doing his normal route and he's at, somewhere at 1 p.m. and you have a survey come in at 1:05 from the city of West Miami, that's probably a high quality survey and we can give that a high score. But if the survey comes in at 12:01 a.m. or 1 in the morning from the Ukraine, we know that's a very low quality survey. So we can flag that as well. So we built in protective measures for your employees so that this can't be abused. And it's as verifiable as you're going to get for an interaction that occurs where no one's around. Okay, so next slide, please. So Citigrader is that specific solution that we built to solve one particular problem. The name of our company is Resourcity, which is about having all city resources in one space. So we have an app. We launched this app, a beta version of it, so a test version of it in the city of Coral Gables last year. It was dedicated to the city of Coral Gables. We built it for the city of Coral Gables, and we built it to help the local businesses recover from COVID, since we had over 50 or 60 closing at the time. Okay, this app is designed to increase and spur local loyalties. It's designed to get people in the community to support local businesses. This app is currently being refurbished. It's being ramped up to a great extent. And we're going to relaunch that app in September of this year with new features and functionality. And the Citigrader that the pilot cities are using will tie into that app. So it will greatly increase the power of Citigrader, and you'll have full access to this app. So what's the app going to do? The app is going to essentially incentivize and encourage and enable residents and guests alike to engage in pro-community activities such as local loyalty and community service and civic engagement. Next slide, if you would. So for instance, in City of Coral Gables, we have 75 or so local businesses. They have to be local in the program. The businesses get to use it for free, okay? They set up a page. It's a lot like a Yelp page, but a page they can control. Through this page, they offer exclusive deals, promotions, rewards, perks, and they can offer residents points through the app every time they come in to the brick and mortar location. This local loyalty piece is going to be greatly expanded in September to include other features for local business support, such as a Patreon style solution for local business support. For those of you not familiar with Patreon, it lets you donate money to a content maker or a business in order to support them. We're going to have that. The reason for this is you have a lot of snowbirds who come down here and they're here a few months of the year, then they're gone and they're in New England for the rest of the year, or they have their favorite restaurant somewhere, on 8th Street. They want to support that restaurant, but they're not here most of the year to go eat there. So what they can do is they can donate $1, $3, $5 a month in order to support that restaurant. And in exchange, they'll be in a VIP program and the restaurant could offer them exclusive perks that are for the VIP. Next slide, please. Civic activity tracking. So this app can do a lot of things, but what it does is it gives every user a barcode. So if a user goes to a local charities community event, or it goes to a litter cleanup, or a tie drive, or a feeding project, then people in the community can go to this, open up their Resourcity app, scan it, and get points for attending these community events. The local businesses in turn can then offer perks to those people who are attending these events and say, hey, I like what you did for the community. I want to give something back to you. And I'll give you $5 off, or I'll give you a free coffee or a free drink. This works for the businesses because the businesses get someone in the door, and that perk usually leads to a greater sale. So it's all positive. Everything helps everybody else. So next one. More on community support. Just to give you an example of how it's being used, just the beta in Coral Gables. Tour Kitchen on Giralda, it's a very high-end restaurant. They don't do promotions. We met with them. They said, look, we don't do discounts. It's just not our look. But what we would like to do is we would like to donate money to the community foundation, Coral Gables Community Foundation, every time someone eats here. So through the Resourcity app, anytime you eat at Tour Kitchen will give $5 to the Coral Gables Community Foundation. It's a way for the business community to support the nonprofit community, and for residents to support the business community, and therefore support the nonprofit community. So there are a lot of synergies that we tap into by taking the various stakeholders of a community and helping them coordinate, communicate, and cooperate. Next slide, please. This is the Patreon style feature I told you about. So here a person can take a PayPal account or a credit card and just set up a monthly donation. You don't have to be a snowbird. A good example for me would be, there are several restaurants in the Gables that I love, but like a burger place, for instance, I don't want to eat a 1,000-calorie burger every week, but I want to support the owner because I know the owner of the store, the restaurant. So what I want to do is maybe give him $3 a month, and I'll get perks, of course, but I just really support what he's doing for the community. I know he gives back to the community. This is a person who gives free burgers to Coral Gables High students whenever they get the honor roll. So I want to support him. I would use this feature, and it would be exclusive to your community. So when you're in Resourcity, you have a West Miami community in Resourcity. It's separate from Miami. It's separate from Hialeah, separate from Coral Gables. And so everything here is focused. Your residents, your businesses, your community organizations, and your government all pitching in to do good things for the community with incentives on top. Okay, next please. So the pilot we're conducting, we have the city of Miami as our lead city. We're working with them, city of Hialeah, hopefully city of West Miami, and we're talking to a couple of other cities that we'll probably have in, and maybe a couple of cities in Broward as well. And what we're doing is we're going to give you the Citigrader solution, which is the QR codes and feedback solution, starting June 1st. We'll provide you with the collateral. So we'll print up the business cards with the unique QR codes on them for you, and we let you release it into the wild. If you need us to set up the surveys, we set up the surveys, we manage it for you. All we need is for city manager or staff, just call us and say, hey, this is what we need. Here are the questions. Here's what we'd like to change. We'll help you. Come September, we're going to launch the Resourcity Community Engagement Act. We're working with a lot of organizations right now in Dayton, Broward. So a lot of local businesses and community organizations, chambers of commerce, etc. And so we're going to have a pretty robust system set up. Come September, you'll be able to have a city account in Resourcity supporting the local community for free, and it will always be free to you. And you'll be able to plug Citigrader into Resourcity so that this software you're using now with QR codes will actually be greatly amplified. Because what will happen is there'll be a Citigrader feature. West Miami users go into the app, they click on Citigrader, and then a whole bunch of surveys can pop up. Surveys on street lighting, on public safety, on garbage collection, you name it, whatever you want it to be. And those residents or guests, when they take those surveys, will receive a point from us, from Resourcity, or half a point. They'll start earning perks, and then those points will apply to the different deals that your local businesses, only your businesses, are hosting. And of course, if you continue to use Citigrader and want to renew it, if it's working for your city, you'll always have that account, that government host account for Resourcity. Next. So additional benefits, I think I probably hit all these. Support all aspects of your community for free. This is with Resourcity. Incentivize the constructive use of city and community resources. So we want people to utilize your parks. We want people to utilize your public spaces. We want people to, if you have enterprises where you charge, a pool, a public pool, or some sort of tennis complex, we want people to utilize those. It's a fast growing platform. We just had a nice refresh article hit today. So if you look into Refresh Miami, you'll see an article on Resourcity. We just interviewed with the Herald. We are finalists in the current Herald startup competition. So we're growing in stature, and this is something that I think a lot of cities are going to start implementing pretty soon. And of course, you allow the citizens to play a positive role in their community. We get away from this dynamic that too many cities have where, residents feel like, during tax season, they're tax dollars, and during budget season, they're consumers of services, and that's how the city thinks of them. What we want to do is create this teamwork, getting the citizens, the government, the businesses, and the community organizations, the 4 types of stakeholders in every community, to work together through this hub, through this central platform. Essentially, that's it. I told you I'd try to go fast to get you out of here. I'm happy to take any questions about the pilot. I should note it's a paid pilot. The city of Miami is paying around $30,000. City of Hialeah is paying around $26,000. That was our negotiation. Yolanda's been really tough with me because I've met with Yolanda on this, and we are charging significantly less, an amount that we probably consume in about a week internally. So we're going to lose money on it. We're not trying to make money on it. We're expecting to lose money. This is how normal tech startups operate the first few years. But what we really want is a high quality city. West Miami is a neighboring city. I live on the other side of 57, so I'm about 2 minutes away. You're a city that's known for having a good rapport with your citizens, your residents. You're a service-oriented city. It doesn't have a lot of the problems of other South Florida cities. I think people here are generally happy with the government and the city staff. So that's a good thing in our eyes, and it's the kind of city we want to work with. And having worked with staff a couple of times here and met with staff a couple of times, it's always good to have people who are responsive, because it helps us build a better product so that one day we have something that we can really scale and take to the rest of the country. So that's my presentation. I'll take any questions you have.
Tony, thank you for that
Sure.
very efficient, very detailed presentation. I do have a question. You said how much City of Miami is going to cost, how much City of Hialeah is going to cost, and you said the manager's been discussing
Right.
with you, but you never said how much we would have to pay.
So we were talking about $5,000 for an entire year of the pilot. What we're going to do, if you guys agree, is we'll start the pilot in June with everyone else. We'll give you from June until September 30th for free. You can use it with no commitment, no payment. Just have it and see how it works for you. If by September 30th you don't like it, you can boot it. If by
And there's
September,
no cost?
no cost. And if you like it after September 30th, then we'd like you to take the rest of the year, and then you can begin to pay us the $5,000. So you're basically getting 3 months for free. Yeah. We know you're going to like it.
Okay. And if you remember when I met with you, I did have some questions, and I didn't hear you address them in your presentation. I wanted to see a little bit more than just data collection. Data collection is good, but what are we going to do with the data collection? I'd like to see that when a citizen or a resident does a survey, they get a response that we have it, that we're working on it, and I need to know that we are going to respond to that survey, be it positive or negative.
Sure. So
and you didn't address that in your presentation.
I'm sorry. Sure. You'll have a response mechanism in there. So through the dashboard, anytime you receive a survey, you'll have the ability to respond to that. So you're going to have an email address that's required from the user to collect the survey. So you have something to respond to. You'll have the ability to respond to that in the system. We also discussed having something automated that says, this survey went to this person, and then a link where you can maybe click and access that person's email address. You can do that too. That's easy for us. What we don't want to do is tie your hands or force you into a response that if you can't keep up with it, it's a liability for you. So what we don't want to do is build something into the system where you have to respond, or some automated response says, hey, we'll get back to you in X number of hours, and that can't happen. We can build that easily. But really, we want to work with you and see what works. I think probably the best thing to do is have what you discussed, which was have the person's name, the supervisor, whoever received the survey, a link where you can click on that person's email address for a follow-up email, and then have something in the dashboard where whoever receives it on the city end, if they want, can respond through the system. If you want automated responses, we can do that. If you want a response where I click a button and it sends this response, I click a button and it sends that one.
No,
we can do that.
I want us to respond. Because
Understood,
this data
understood.
is no good to me if I don't do anything with it.
Understood.
So I want us to be able to respond to these surveys, again, be them positive or negative, because otherwise, what good are they?
I agree.
I mean, what am I gonna do with data?
Right.
Besides
No,
collect it, so
I agree.
I need to be able to use it, and proactively, so I want us to be able to respond to every survey.
I agree.
Thank you for the survey, and if it's a complaint or something, we got it, this is what we're doing, and that way the survey taker knows that we got it, and this is what we're gonna do about it. That they didn't just waste their time just submitting data for collection purposes only.
It makes me happy because it makes my system better.
Okay.
I mean, if every city uses this system that way, it's going to be great for us. It's going to be a boon for us because it's more successful on the public facing side, on the citizen side. We want the citizen to say, this is great. Why isn't this in my cousin lives in West or South Miami. Why isn't this there, or in Pinecrest? That's what we want. So it's refreshing to hear that. Not every local government's like that. So we're happy to do it. It's easy to do. It's the support's already built into it. So all we have to do is figure out just how you want it to work, like what the steps are on your end. It's completely up to you, and we'll do it.
I wanted to go to the department director and to the employee.
Okay.
And I want to get a copy of the survey as well.
Done.
Perfect.
Sure.
Madam Manager, do we have how much of a burden is this going to be on our department directors?
We don't know, Madam Mayor. It depends on the level of utilization, and that's why I think a pilot program would be the only way to go at this time. As you know, we have stretched our manpower pretty thin now. I'd like for there to be again, interaction on the part of the commission, interaction on the part of the administration and staff, but there has to be one centralized point where the buck stops with the office of the city manager, and so that I can evaluate, if you would, to come back to give you a recommendation at a later time on whether the program is being utilized, whether we are ready for something like this, whether we are going to enter into an agreement with Resource City, beyond the 90-day period. And this is not only for the residents. We got to gauge the local loyalty area on our businesses. We got to look at how this helps our businesses, in a sense, promote their services or their goods and services, basically. So I think it's not only something that the community, and especially our younger community, our incoming new generation of West Miami residents, they're very techie, and this is something that they probably would very much appreciate, because it's at the tip of just picking up that phone and pressing a button. What I really would not like, and I see this, and I'm very frank with you, I see a lot of these blogs like Nextdoor. When it started, it started to be a very useful tool where a lot of good information was available. Then it became a little bit of a griping session, and then what you see in there mostly are, people that have lost their cats and their dogs, and that while all that is fine and dandy, I don't want the business of the city to get lost in the shuffle. So I think that there has to be one point of landing, if you would, for those comments, that interaction with the public. And of course, the commission and the mayor would have the ability to see what's coming in, the comments that are being made, things that come to your attention that require our follow-up. this would be dealt with like we deal with emails, emails that you all sent me that are sent by citizens of the city, your constituents. But it's just going to be, I think it's going to give us another venue, if you would, for that type of citizen complaint and or citizen commendations, because it could work both ways. Somebody can visit the park and say, you know, the park is in pristine condition. We went into the bathroom, the playground equipment is beautiful. You know, those comments, we want to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then obviously um, make make progress with those things that we have to pay attention to, and again praise the work of the employees on those that we are being praised on. So it's a great tool, it's a great application, it's very modern, and like I said, time will tell if we're ready to move on and go into a pilot program. I think the first 90 days are going to be critical. It's going to provide us information. You all can suggest you know, the list of questions that you want to see on that survey. This is a small city, we all work together, but at the end of the day, your input is very valuable as well. And you know, we can put it into the mix, and maybe Tony and his team can help us formulate those questions that we believe are going to maybe take the city to the next level, so that we can gauge the real needs of the community. And, you know, we're prepared to do that. How taxing will it be? I can't answer that. I don't know.
Will we be able to, or can you assure me that every employee will hand a card to every single resident that they interact with?
I have a problem with every single employee, and I know that the chief is raising his hand.
I'm sorry, I meant to say except
Yes,
department. I did need to make that exception. So,
right,
I mean, because otherwise, what good would this program do us if our employees
exactly,
are not handing out the cards? So I
right,
need to get the commitment from you as well as Tony
right.
that we're going to do our part in this.
And I think the cards are more, I think, geared for the mayor and city commissioners to give to their constituents. And of course,
For employees as well. I mean, Tony said
well,
that for,
I gotta tell you that I would have some reservations, like our sanitation crew. If they're out giving cards, they're gonna lose track of that route. And
I don't mean walking up to the door. I'm saying any.
no, I know that. If you
with-
run,
with the resident.
there are groups of residents that have more of an interactive relationship with the residents than others. And I know the chief may express some reservations, and I got to tell you, Mr. Penna.
I'm leaving out the police department.
Right, and I'm going to Mr. Penna's department. I believe there are maybe some reservations there. It's a good tool for code enforcement to hand out. It's a great tool for the building department to use. It's a great tool for licensing for the businesses, those types of activities.
For the front
But
office.
sanitation,
Again, I don't want our garbage, I don't want our sanitation.
right, and those are, let's
leave out our sanitation department.
right.
In general.
It's a tool that can be the recreation center. It's a good tool for the recreation
Front
center.
office as well.
I'm sorry? Front office. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Every day.
So it all
Because
depends
our
on,
this won't do us any good.
exactly. So I think that every department, with the exception of a couple, can really benefit from disseminating this information that becomes a tool for the residents to communicate with us and tell us how we're conducting our business, the business of the city.
I don't want to just know how our parks are doing. I mean, this is for the employees as well.
Well, the survey is geared to particular departments. I think the first order of business when designing a survey of this nature is, what departments do you want to feature in this platform? And I think, Tony, you and I spoke about this. I think, Mayor, you were part of that conversation. We have to see, are we going to put code enforcement in there? Are we going to put the building department services? Are you going to put the front office, finance and administration, the recreation center? How many let's say, how many pages of departments can we build into this platform? And that would be a question that I would have for Tony.
Sure, any department you want. We were asked this question by Lee as well. Our recommendation always is, we don't recommend this for first responders or police.
Correct.
We think that should be off the table. To give you an example, City of Miami, we're starting with code compliance, the building department, I believe planning and zoning. So those are the departments we're going to pilot in. This is really, that's right in this program's wheelhouse. Frontline employees, front office employees are also right there, are perfect for this. I would, you don't want to create a policy on your end, obviously, that disrupts the flow of the workflow. So we're government are obviously running, and no one wants that. But can it be used for that? Sure. Can it be used for elected officials if you want? Sure. Anything you want. It doesn't really affect us. It's the only thing that we sort of have an opinion on that's fairly strong is we just don't want to do police and first responders.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's it. So anything's possible. Anything you want, we can do.
Okay. Any question? Thank you, Tony, very
Sure.
much. Are there any questions for Tony?
I have a comment. It's not so much of a question. I remember when I was on the CITT, the half penny board, we had a long discussion there about gauging people's opinions on their metro and bus rides. And we were having a tough time with the government side putting out an opinion, some sort of survey. And we had decided maybe a QR code, and really the government wasn't equipped to do it. And the safety staff wasn't equipped to do it themselves. So I know I'm talking in that sense specifically about things like our parks and our recreation center, but I think that actually could be very valuable for us, and it's something that I don't think we could really do ourselves in-house. So I love the idea of gauging people's feedbacks with interactions with the city, whether it's code compliance, whether it's front office, so we get an idea of what's going on, because we can't be here all day long watching. But also, and also very helpful things in the parks and recreation centers, things that we, oftentimes there's long periods of time when things aren't replaced, and because we just, everyone's very busy, including our, we're always going to be short-staffed and in a lot of departments, being a small city, and we don't realize that residents really, really want certain things. And this would give us the ability to see that. And it's something that I think, again, we wouldn't be able to do in-house. I love the idea that you would give us a couple months free to see how it's working. My opinion, I think we should take up that offer, but I will leave it to my fellow commissioners and the mayor.
Any other questions? Commissioner Blanes, any questions for Mr. Newell?
No,
Commissioner Suarez,
I
any
think
questions?
everything has been brought out in the open.
Okay, Commissioner Suarez, any questions? You're on mute. You're on mute, Commissioner Suarez. You're on mute, sir.
I don't have any questions for him. And if he brings a 90 days pilot program, it's a matter of the administration decided they think could be possible to make an analysis about that or not. That's the administration what I think is convenient or not, make an analysis about because we have something very similar years ago, GECOR. We still have something for GECOR. But anyway, Yolanda, the manager and the director of public works should know if this 90 days program, a pilot program, they will see the results. I don't have opinion now. I don't have questions.
Commissioner Blanca, any questions or comments? Okay. I think your program is wonderful, Tony, but going forward, I'm going to speak beyond the 90-day program. I can't see paying $5,000 to see how nice our parks are. So it's going to have to do more for me than tell me that our park equipment needs to be refurbished or cleaned. Okay, so I need to have it do a lot more than just that for $5,000 a year. And I appreciate the fact that it's a very reduced rate if we were to go forward. So I'm gonna tell you right up front, $5,000 is not gonna get me, surveys on my parks. So as long as it does more for me than tell me how my parks are, then that'll be a good thing. So need to start working on that in the 90 days. That'll be wonderful.
Understood. And I'm with you. The parks and the other points of interface are wonderful, and it's natural that a system can cover that because it can.
We only have
But-
3 parks,
Right.
including Garden Club, Lorraine Parks. We
Yeah,
have
I
3
wouldn't
parks, right,
take-
Madam Manager? We
Yes,
have total
ma'am.
3 parks, right, so $5,000 to tell me how my parks are, 3 parks is not a
Right.
a very fiscal way to spend the money.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't pay 5,000 for that either. If what we're hoping happens is, I know it's a small city and I don't know how many interactions there are between employees and the public, how many of those occur every day, but one employee hands a card to someone and you get, you find out something that you never would have known otherwise, because that person took the card, they scanned it, and it, for better or worse, hopefully for better, this employee went above and beyond. They give you they take the survey and they give you all the comments, and they tell you how this employee saved their lives or saved their day, or really it did something that impacted this person's life greatly. And these are the things that we know are getting lost. I have dealt with public employees for most of my adult life in my career. And I can tell you, while there's a lot of bad that gets missed in this blind spot, there's a lot of good. And that's because people feel like, what's the point? I'm not going to call the city to rave about this employee because the city doesn't answer me anyway, or who do I call? I don't know. So when you make it so easy for them, and the resident sees, hey, I care, the city cares, they take this and they get it to you, and you, the legislative body, and you staff, get that one review that says, wow, this person did something amazing. In and of itself, that's what we're going for. That's powerful. And we think that'll happen, obviously, often, especially if you have high-quality employees.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, so I'm going to turn it over to you in 1 second. Tony, I just want to be sure that come August 31st, we tell you, Tony, this is not working for us. There is 0 cost to us.
Yes.
For those 3 preceding months.
Yes.
And
Madam
no-
Mayor?
Yes, so I'm going to turn it over to you in 1 second. And obviously I want that sent to my attorney in writing so he can review it, so that I know that we're covered. Mr. Attorney, go ahead, sir.
Yes, Madam Mayor, just an observation. This item is just for report, and there is no action to be taken tonight unless you call it out and bring it out to agenda by 4/5, okay?
All right, so at this point, we've all given our thoughts, and I believe,
So if you want, I'll make the motion.
well, we don't need a motion. It's not a votable item. We can just give the manager the direction to work with Mr. Newell.
Right, I just want to clarify, for the pilot program, Mr. Attorney or Tony, I know you've done this with a few cities now, so maybe or you can discuss with the attorney here. Do we need I know you talked about Mr. Villalobos right now. Do you need a 4/5 vote to move it on the agenda? Do we need a vote to enter into the pilot program?
Well, I haven't seen any documents, so I cannot recommend one way or the other because I haven't read anything. I mean, this is just new to me. So in addition, it's not in the agenda, so you would have to bring it in the agenda to take any action on the report.
Correct. So this is my recommendation. It is just a presentation. So, Madam Manager, if you will get with Tony and then bring it back on the agenda as
As an action item.
that will be wonderful.
We will do that. I will meet with Tony as
I have a
early
question.
as.
I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner?
This pilot program, 90 days pilot program is free, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
But that'll come back to us. That'll come back to us as an agenda item. And then we will vote at that point. Tonight's just a presentation. Okay? Okay.
I would need documentation and contract documents, so just to alert you all, so I can read it and make my observation about the legal implications of that, okay?
Yes, sir, by all means. And Madam Manager, you'll work with the attorney and with Tony.
Yes, ma'am.
But so by the time it comes to us, we have something to look at and to vote on.
It may not be the second meeting of April because of the timing, and it all depends how soon he could give us the template or the boilerplate language for the contract with the modifications that you are entertaining for a 90-day pilot program at no cost to the city. So if we can bring it to the next agenda, we will. Otherwise, it'll be the first meeting of May.
I leave it in your very capable hands.
Thank you.
Tony, thank you so much
Thank you,
for the
everyone. I really
presentation and for
appreciate it.
being here, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank
Have
you,
a
everyone.
nice
Good night.
evening.
Thank you, Tony.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor, you let me know if you want to take any other item out of order or you want to prioritize any other items, because the next item will be item 10D. Would you like me to proceed with the order and leave the A, B, and as you said, and I believe is D, which is financing agreement is in connection, item D and E are connected. So how would you like me to proceed?
Yeah, we're gonna leave those for the end. So let's, your next item will be F,
Okay,
because A, B, D, and E are all together.
yes. So let's proceed with item 10F, which is a nomination by department directors for employees of the year 2020 by the Office of the City Manager. This item was postponed at the March 17, 2021 Commission meeting.
Madam Mayor, if you would allow our department directors to make their department nominations for the record, and then I will leave mine for last before your nomination for the mayor's award.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Who's first?
Chief Avila, would you start with the
Yes,
police
ma'am.
department?
For the police department, it'll be, we've nominated Lieutenant David Valencia. He's been with the department multiple years. We just recently promoted him to sergeant, and I'm sorry, I don't have with me the report I gave you.
You meant to lieutenant, correct?
Yes, Lieutenant David Valencia. And that's who we're proposing to receive the award from the commission.
Chief, your memo is here in our package, and I'm sure we've all read it and have all the details.
Apologize for that. I don't have it with me.
It's okay, it's here in front of us, so I'm sure we have all read it, and obviously it's quite impressive.
Mhm. The next nomination by the Director of Public Works, Juan Pena.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Vice Mayor. For the Public Works Department, the Employee of the Year is for one of our sanitation workers, Mr. Jennings. He is here every day, goes about his business, very prompt, very reliable, and always service with a smile. So that is our nomination for this year for Public Works as far as the public services staff. For the office, again, this year I've nominated Mercy Soler. During our trying time last year, she was very effective in keeping the building department operating, even with the social distancing and the closed doors and City Hall being out of service. We were always relying upon her to keep the services going, and did a great job of doing that.
Thank you, Mr. Pena.
Parks Director, John Michael Lopez.
Good evening, everyone. Our nomination is Andrea Aguilar. She's right here with me.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Andrea has to be probably the most reliable, her and Megan, staff that we have, and no matter what we need, painting the building, flyers, delivering meals, Andrea's always there, and she's a great example to any young staff that we have come in. So, and she takes a leadership role with them. So I'm very happy to recommend her for this award.
Thank
Tom.
you. And Madam Mayor, since Evelyn Paz is out on a very I want to say close knit, if you would, field trip with our senior citizens, she's asked me to put her nomination on the record, and she is with honor nominating Blanca Varela for the 2020 Employee of the Year Award for the West Miami Community Center. And Blanca Varela is an exceptional employee. She's an extremely punctual in attendance, her participation with social activities, her attitude is extremely positive. She's high energy among others and has shown that she merits this recognition. So I could not agree more with Evelyn's selection for the Employee of the Year for 2020. I mean, if any department has had to reinvent itself, it has been the West Miami Community Center during COVID-19. So I'd like to, on behalf of Evelyn Paz, submit that nomination.
Thank you, Madam Manager, and all excellent recommendations and all very, very worthy of those recommendations. Now, what
Thank
I'd
you.
like,
If I may, Madam Mayor, I may submit my Finance and Administration nomination.
absolutely.
Manager's office. My nomination for the Employee of the Year for 2020 is Sonia Delgado. Sonia has served the city for 23 years. She's always accepted all her assignments and carried them out in a quiet and most professional manner. She's embraced automation. She collaborated with all of her coworkers. She's been courteous and respectful to the general public and to her coworkers. She has followed all the protocols that have been established. And now she has decided to retire effective this month. And I think that as we send her on to her next chapter, I think we need to recognize her exceptional work and the years of service that she's given to the city. So my nomination is Sonia Delgado for 2020.
Thank you, Madam Manager. And again, very worthy and excellent nomination. Now, what I'd like to ask of all of you is when we present these recognitions to these employees, I know I'm reading all the great things each of them has done, but if I can have you guys, the department directors, when we present the recognitions to them, if I could have you read your submittal to us so that everyone in the room knows all the details and of all the great things that each person is recognized has done. So if you could do that for me when we present the awards, I would greatly appreciate that, because I don't want it to be lost just on us. I mean, we're reading it here, but I want everyone to know. So that'll be great. And Madam Manager, as discussed with you, I know I have the nomination for the Mayor's Award for Excellence. So at this time, I'm gonna nominate Evelyn Paz. I know she's not here, and I will repeat this, when she's present. Evelyn came in and had some very, very big shoes to fill, and she filled them. And she came in, she filled them perfectly. She went over and beyond, and she came in at a very, very difficult time. So she had these big shoes to fill. She had to learn all the ins and outs with the Alliance for Aging and all the reporting, and there was a very big learning curve. I know she was an administrative assistant for many years, but there was a very big learning curve as far as these reports being so detailed and having to be done so specifically. And I know, there was a struggle with that at first. So then came COVID, and all of a sudden the senior center had to reinvent itself, and the seniors had to stay home, and she had to deal with all the seniors and the emotions of not being able to come in. And so she wore many, many, many hats at the very beginning or the start of her career here with the city of West Miami. So she's done an exceptional job. under very stressful circumstances. So I firmly believe she is completely deserving of this Mayor's Award for Excellence. So my nomination is Evelyn Paz, the Senior Center Director.
Duly noted, Madam Mayor. Excellent choice.
Yes.
Thank you.
That covers, yeah, that covers item 11G, the nomination of the 2020 Mayor's Award for Excellence.
Madam Mayor, I think the only thing that's left here is to make a decision as to when these employees will be recognized. What venue are we going to, in what manner they'll be recognized because of the social distancing issues, and because of the capacity that we have in the commission chambers. I know we've spoken about the award that is already been approved by the commission, that it's for the director of our Parks and Recreation and his team on that on the best 3 park award for excellence. And I just wanted to bring it up to the attention of the mayor and the commissioners to see how and when you would like to award issue these awards or
Well,
present these awards.
I know they're usually done in the chambers during a commission meeting, but now with social distancing, that would prove very difficult. I really like the way the chief did his awards in the senior center. I feel that's probably a big enough venue where we can do this and still have social distancing. But obviously, I'd like to hear from my colleagues and from staff and get your thoughts. Anyone want to talk tonight?
The senior center is a good
Okay.
idea.
Do you like the senior center?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think community center gives enough space to do the awards properly and to recognize everyone.
Senior center is good for you. Okay.
And have their loved ones there.
Commissioner Blanes, does the senior center work for you as a venue for the Employee of the Year Awards? Commissioner Blanes, yes. Commissioner Suarez, does the senior center work for you as opposed to a commission meeting?
I think the question was the award to the Evelyn Pass.
No, sir. We're beyond that. We're discussing where we're going to do the recognition ceremony at.
Well, whatever decision make the administration for the ceremony, I will accept it.
Okay, senior center it is, Madam Manager. Does that meet with your approval? Okay.
Yes, yes.
And it takes what, a couple of weeks to do the plaques, Madam
It's
Clerk?
gonna a week or so, an area.
right.
Yes, we need at least like a week to order
Alright.
and
So why don't you, when you decide on get with the directors, decide on a date and a time, and then just let us all know and we'll be there.
Right. And it does have to be at a time where the food preparation is completed and the food is out. So it would probably be sometime mid-morning, just like the chief and his department had his
I
award.
give that up to you and the department directors to decide what works best for you. Now, as for the award for the 3 best for John Michael and the rec center, I had a conversation with John and Commissioner Blanes. I'd like your input on this. I would like to see it done at the rec in front of the children. So the children know that, what a great park that they're in. Thank you, Commissioner, for that thumbs up. So work with John and see what day and time it works. And that we'll do at the rec outside, obviously, so we can maintain social distancing for the children. But I'd like them to participate in this great honor that's being bestowed upon our recreation center and staff.
Can we agree that, let's see, can we agree on?
You can work with John and let us know. John, does that work for you?
No, I'm talking about the employee awards, if we can agree on a date, since you have a commission meeting on April 21st. And you usually keep your calendars free to either meet with us for the agenda briefing. If you want to do the employee awards, not the park, but the one for the employees of the year on the 21st, like at 10:30, 11 in the morning. That would work for us.
Will that not be too soon to have all the plaques done, or is that enough time?
No, that it gives us 2 whole weeks.
Okay,
If it works for you and your department directors, it works for me. Does it not work for any of us? Commissioners, Vice Mayor, does that
Yep.
date not work for you?
Date is fine.
Okay, then the
I will
20
have Gotti send you a calendar for that, and then we'll just focus on the time, and I'll work it out with Evelyn to make sure that the food preparation has been completed and we're ready to go at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning.
whatever time works for you, works for us. We have no conflict with that date.
Excellent. Okay,
And then John, you work with John and let us know what day we will be at the rec.
I will follow up with John tomorrow.
Madam Mayor, I need to be excused for a couple of minutes.
Yes, sir, go right ahead. Madam Clerk, should we take a break, or is there something we can discuss that the attorney? No, I think he needs to be present for the next one. All right, let's take a 5-minute break until the city attorney returns.
Thank you.
Quintana, yo no oigo nada.
That's because there's nothing going on, Commissioner. We're taking a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Or until the attorney returns, but
Nacho, vamos a hacer pipián.
wow, congratulations. Happy birthday, Sharon. Oh, wonderful. No, he'll be here in spirit. I know he will. He'll be here in spirit, but celebrating with his wife. So that's wonderful. Well, tell her happy birthday from all of us, please.
Certainly shall. And now I'm going to take 3 minutes.
Go right ahead.
Leave it there. Leave it open. Watching you force me to think maybe that's what I would like to do. Good. I just said I would do it.
Mr. Attorney, we're taking a 5-minute break. I see you back, but now we're going to give everyone else the remaining time.
Okay.
I have to leave by 9:30. Mayor, I have to leave by 9:30. I have to leave by 9:30.
At 9:30? Oh.
I'll take the important items first, whatever that is.
I'm sorry?
Let's take the important items first, the ones that time sensitive.
Yeah, but I won't have quorum.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Either way, I won't have quorum, so I can't.
No, I'm saying like if there's a time sensitive item here, let's take it before, that way.
Mr. Attorney, may I ask you a question before I reconvene the meeting?
Yes,
Commissioner Blanca has just let me know that she has to leave at 9:30. So I obviously won't have quorum after that. How do you recommend I proceed? Ask one of my other commissioners to come in, or everything else is deferred to the next meeting?
you need to have a quorum present, madam.
Exactly. So are you recommending that I ask one of my other commissioners to come in, or that I defer whatever's left to the next meeting?
Either or.
Either or. Okay, I will play it by ear.
The attorney's back, who are we waiting for?
Huh?
The attorney's back, who are we waiting for?
Commissioner Suarez.
I don't understand that you can have a hybrid with the Zoom as a quorum, but if one is departing from the day.
Commissioner Blanes, before I reconvene the meeting. Well, I'm gonna ask you both at the same time. So one way to Commissioner Suarez is present.
It has to do with the physical presence of a quorum. That,
Have to be on the day.
it has to be, yeah, there has to be a physical presence quorum of 3, because we have 5.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a tweak in the statute that only came to light, this year.
I thought then as much as the quorum is hybrid, that particular situation would envision.
Right, right.
Goes up for what by Zoom.
Right.
Still constituted a quorum.
When they wrote the statute, which we obviously fall under because we fall under the state,
Yeah.
when they wrote that statute, well, teleconferencing wasn't even around,
Oh,
but you know, definitely not the idea that we have to.
Okay.
So they wrote it with a physical requirement, like that would make sense, right?
No, it does.
Because they don't want people phoning in, right?
I know that.
Or maybe it'll change in the future.
I know that even if you have full commission meetings, even, technically speaking, if one or two go to a bundle, okay, that you don't lose the quorum.
Right.
They come back in, but they're not supposed to vote on
Right.
the issue. that
I
they
mean,
were not
technically, without a quorum, we could discuss things that don't require a vote. Right? There's nothing on the agenda that's left of that, but
Well, I just thought that in my own head, obviously wrong.
We're waiting for it now.
We're waiting for Commissioner Suarez.
Hybrid move.
Right.
we give you
right, that would make sense. That would make sense.
Give you that flexibility. Okay. Like I said.
It was hotly debated for a bit.
Madam Manager,
You're not,
could you call Commissioner
alone.
Suarez and see where he's at, please?
Of course.
Tell him we are all back waiting for him.
Like I said, each day I like to learn something.
Don't be so lucky.
Madam Mayor, I would suggest that waiting for a third commissioner that we could advance the agenda at this point until Commissioner Blanca needs to leave.
Yeah, but I need to know what I'm gonna do at 9:30, sir. So I was gonna ask, I'd like to ask both of my commissioners at the same time that question before I proceed.
Hi, you've reached Luciano Suarez. I'm not getting a response, Madam Mayor. Please leave your name and telephone number, and he.
All right, well, if I start this next item, Commissioner Suarez is not gonna be able to opine on it because he's not here to listen to it. So be it. Thank you, Madam Manager. Madam Clerk, proceed with item H and let it be known Commissioner Suarez is not present, so he will not be able to opine on this item upon his return.
Yes, so it's 8:54 and you're calling the meeting back to order.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner
Sorry, I'm calling
Suarez
back to order. Yes.
is not present. So Commissioner Blanc is present, Mayor Rodriguez, Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón, and Commissioner Blanc are present. So what item would you like me to proceed with, Madam Mayor?
Let's continue with item H.
Item H, item H, item 11A and B, I think that's all connected, isn't it, Madam Manager? So.
I'm
Okay,
sorry,
let's start
can you go back? Item
Yes.
H?
Item H is in regards to the gift cards.
That's right.
And item 11A, I think it's connected to, and the resolution, which is item 11B.
Right, so 10H, 11A and B
11A
are
and
all
B
part of
are
the same.
all like a big item.
Mhm.
So however you like me, if I'll read item H and let's start with
Right,
that.
they are connected, but we need to take each one
Of
separately.
course. Item 11H, this is
I'm
the
getting a call
discussion.
from Commissioner Suarez. One moment, please.
Ay, Dios mío.
Madam Mayor, he should be joining us soon.
He's
There
there.
he is.
All right, perfect. Perfect timing. Welcome back, Commissioner. Madam Clerk, continue with item H. Please read item H.
Yes, Madam Mayor, Commissioner Suarez is back. Item H, discussions, live recommendation of use of city purchased public gift cards not submitted to CARES for reimbursement. This item was postponed at the March 17 meeting, and updated information regarding the use of unexpended funds from the CARES Act with updated deadlines by the Office of the City Manager.
Thank you, and I'll be brief with the presentation. The original round of CARES Act reimbursement had a deadline of December 31st, 2020. At that moment in time, we had gone through 3 rounds of Publix grocery gift card handouts for the community, those that came forward and completed their affidavits. And all of those were submitted to the CARES Act program through Haggerty for reimbursement. As of today, we had a total of $6,900 that we did not encumber as of the end of December because we were not able to get to the 500 estimated gift card giveaways for Publix. So not only do we have $6,900 that we can capture now through an extension of the program, which is now has an effective deadline of September 30th, 2021, we also have the opportunity of issuing gift cards. And what we were thinking about is we have had 3 giveaways in the community for people that really were in need or affected in some fashion by COVID, which was the intended use through the CARES Act. So we were considering an opportunity to allow our employees to be the recipients of the next round of Publix gift cards because they too have been affected by COVID. everybody has been affected by COVID in some fashion. So our proposal was to issue $100 gift cards to city employees who filled a year-round position with the city, a full-time position. And obviously, they would have to go through the same level of scrutiny, if you would, by the completion of an affidavit and basically swear under oath that they have been affected by COVID, whether financially, whether due to illness, or whatever reason they have, they would sign under oath in that affidavit. So there is an avenue for us to use the unencumbered money that is available rather than losing it to another community, and have our money be recaptured by someone else. So that is what we have been discussing for weeks. And I know that I've had conversations with members of the city commission on this. And obviously it is up to this commission. But if you will consider expending these funds from CARES Act, we must do, we must have they've titled a first amendment to the interlocal agreement by the city of West Miami and Miami-Dade County for these federal funded dollars. And so that's why we brought the 3 items today to you for your consideration, or for you to tell us how you wish for us to spend the $6,900, and what group you believe should be eligible for that, provided that that group that we are considering has been affected by COVID. So our recommendation, and it's on the agenda, I had addressed it in a memo. Our initial recommendation was the issuance of these cards for city employees. I mean, that's in writing. I know that I've had some conversations with some of the members of the city commission that have perhaps would like to see the money go elsewhere or be expended in another category. So I'm open to your conversation and your recommendation on this as well.
Okay.
I have a comment, Mayor.
Sure, go right ahead, sir.
Well, I heard the mayor, the administrator, the manager, and I was reading the agenda. And let me tell you, this money from the CARES Act, or the stimulus, anyway, from where any source that came to the cities in this particular money, because there are other monies for business, there are other monies for other things. But this money comes from the cities for the more needed. And I think, as a commissioner, I was elected by the residents, and I think, my opinion, this money should be distributed among the senior citizens, the person who qualified for Meals on Wheels, the person who has very reduced income, the person who has the more needed in the cities, because our employees should be lucky that they have work, they have benefits, and they are healthy. And to me, it is not illegal, but the perception that the city gets some money and distribute among the employees, it could be not illegal. For me, as a resident, is immoral. This money should be distributed among the residents, the more needed, not the employees who have vacations, who have salaries, who have every year increasing salaries. Right now, there is some kind of money around increasing. And I don't think we should distribute among the employees, because I love our employees, but I think there are more people more needed than our employees. And all of you should think that our employees are lucky to have a work, are lucky that they are healthy. I repeat the same thing. I don't want to repeat again. But to me, in the opinion, this should be distributed in the needed persons. The seniors, the less the less income, the same people that have the benefits of the Meal on Wheels, and they come to the what we call the comedor, the senior center, and not the employees, because our employees are lucky. And this is not illegal, but the perception, this is immoral. I don't buy that. I am totally opposed to that. Should be among the most needed people in the city.
Thank you, Commissioner, for your comment. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
So I wouldn't call it immoral, but I do agree with Commissioner Suarez's idea. I think that it fits more in line with the appropriation of the money to begin with. So I would be supportive of that direction to give it to the Senior Center Meals on Wheels group, especially since we already know who they are as well. So it's be pretty easy distribution.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I was looking at Commissioner on the screen. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to hear
Mayor?
from, yes, Commissioner Blanes, go right ahead. I was going to call upon you. Thank you, sir.
I'm gonna have to agree with my colleagues, Commissioner Suarez and the Vice Mayor. You know, while it's a very, you know, it's well intended, you know, to try to help our employees out, but you know, the perception that, you know, it will give the public, I don't think it's a good one. So I'm inclined to agree with them.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Blanca,
I agree with you.
you're good with them too. Well,
Your motion, because I know Commissioner.
well, this is not
Oh,
a
I'm sorry.
motioned item, but I can, even though it's not a motioned item, I can count the votes, even though they're not votes. So
Well, there's a resolution.
I
right?
know what the majority is, but here's what I'd like to do, a friendly amendment to all of your comments. I'd like to see this stay in line with their original program and do another round of gift cards to all our residents. I feel that would be the fairest way, as opposed to handpicking our seniors, although I know our seniors, I love our seniors as you all do, but if we're gonna be fair, let's be fair across the board and do another round of gift card distribution, first come, first serve. That would be the fair way to do it, keeping in line exactly with our preceding programs that we had. So
So
that's
there is a motion. Do you need a motion?
no, sir, this is not a motionable item.
Okay.
This is a
All right.
discussion.
All right.
A discussion. So, I heard from everyone and that would be my friendly amendment or recommendation as to what we do with this $6,900. And Madam Manager, if I recall our conversations, you still have 20-something cards left over.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
those would be obviously added to this. And
Right.
is this going to be would be the third round of grocery card giveaway? I forgot, how many have we done already?
We did, if I'm not mistaken, we did 3 rounds before December 30th.
Okay, so this will be the
And
fourth.
this would be the 4th.
And it's
Exactly. We
keeping
have
in mind-
23 cards left from that go around that we did not submit for reimbursements because they were not claimed by the general public. So we have those in the vault, as I've reported before, and they're valued. Each one of them is valued at $200. And there's one last one that is valued at $184, give or take. And Mercedes can chime in if there's anything incorrect, because I know that we keep close tab on this. So
well, the cards will all have to be of the same denomination, so we
right.
have to perhaps exchange those for whatever denomination is decided upon. And correct me if I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong. If we did it this way, this was already an approved program by Haggerty. So we know that this is keeping in line with the program, the fairness of, not the program, but the legalities of the program. We know this was already approved. So
Yes,
doing something
these
else,
would
we
be
could-
items under that category.
right, so doing anything else, we could run, run the risk of doing something that, let's say, not been approved or not authorized prior. This is already an authorized program, so
Right.
this is probably the best way to do it. So that's my recommendation.
May I ask a question to the manager?
Go right ahead.
I think ultimately, if the money goes to the residents, that's what I'm looking for. I think that's in line with the program. Question though, and I don't know if we have the data for you to answer this. First of all, when we did the 3 rounds before, did you have to come in person to apply?
Yes.
Okay. Do we know how many of the homebound seniors received cards? Because because they're
No.
homebound, so they couldn't come in.
No, I don't.
Is that from anecdotally, do you think a lot of homebound seniors in our program, when residents of West Miami, received the cards?
I don't
Because
believe
it is
so.
kind of a problem,
I don't know the
can't come
data.
in.
I don't know the data because the senior or the person had to be present because their signature had to be notarized. And
Right.
so we had a process in place. I
So
cannot tell you how many
that's my
seniors
only concern.
or how many home delivered meal participants were able to come. I
Right.
don't know.
That's my only concern, because naturally, if you need to be physically present to get it, but you're a homebound senior, then you probably can't be physically present to get it, right? So
Correct.
it's that's my concern, and that's why I was very interested in Commissioner Suarez's proposal. But ultimately, I'll go whatever way to get the money out to the residents. But that I'm wondering if my colleagues have any thoughts on that. But that's something that I've thought about recently, and it's a concern of mine.
If the majority of the
May I
commission,
clarify, please? May I clarify?
The manager speaking, Commissioner Suarez, wait
I
just a
know,
minute.
I know, but I have to
I will
clarify.
call upon you once the manager is
All
finished
right.
speaking. Go ahead, Madam Manager.
okay, we have a total right now of West Miami seniors of 139 participants, including congregate and home delivered meals that live in the city of West Miami. So if you take that number and you you divide the money that we have into that number, we can issue, not counting the 23 cards that are in the vault that obviously have to be turned in and reclassified in smaller amounts. Using the $6,900, you can conceivably give out $50 cards to all 139 senior citizens, if that's the route you want to take. If you want to have obviously a community, if you would, Publix gift card or grocery gift card giveaway, another round of it, call it a grocery card stimulus, and you want to lower the denomination, it all depends. You can actually issue double that money if you give out $25 in value to the community, like what the mayor is suggesting. It all depends what avenue you take, what selection you make. And we can obviously make it work. But I cannot tell you as of today how many homebound seniors came in and how many community center congregate participants came in, because it was open to all the public, to the West Miami community.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Yes, Commissioner Suarez, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Do not complicate things. Yolanda had the number of the resident of West Miami, and I think she said about $39 for each. And that way, well, if it's $39, that's what we should do. And Vice Mayor, we did before, we did successful the cards, so we don't have to think that this is not going to be successful like it before was. We should try to do things and do not complicate it and do it. And if Yolanda had the number of the residents and the amount of money she divided, and whatever number she said, $39 or whatever, do it. And
No,
do not
I-
start to complicate and speculate. If you
No,
start
no.
to speculate, you will be all night and you never will be do nothing. You will be the do nothing commissioner or do nothing vice mayor.
Commissioner Suarez, I think we were in agreement. I think we were in agreement. Are you, to clarify, are you suggesting that we go the route of giving it to the senior center people?
I'm talking about the residents of the West Miami. Some come to the senior center, and some are Meals on Wheels,
Correct.
resident of West Miami.
Right.
And
what I was-
Yolanda have the name and the addresses of those people, and she said the number of those people, of the residents.
That's
She
what I was
divided.
saying.
That's it. She divided $6,900, and the residents who come to the senior or residents who are Meal on Wheels. But we divide it, we get the number, and Yolanda know how to do it. That's it.
Right.
But we should not speculate and do not complicate. We should do good things for the residents, a good thing for the city.
Commissioner,
Commissioner-
thank you for your comment. Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Yeah, Commissioner, I was actually agreeing with you. I was saying that I think there is a gap of people who are in the Meals on Wheels program and people who are in the senior center who may not have had access in the past to the cards. So I was actually in agreement with your point and your recommendation.
You
I
talk to
still-
Yolanda and the administration have it. They know how to do it.
Correct. So my first option would be to go with Commissioner Suarez's recommendation. My second option would be to go to the general public again. I have a concern that the same people will get the cards 2 to 3 times, but we have to get the money out, obviously. So my first option would be to go with Commissioner Suarez's recommendation.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. My concern is, who are we to choose who these cards go to? I mean, there are other needy residents within the city of West Miami, and I know our seniors are needy, but our seniors have received meals every day from day one of the COVID pandemic. So who are we to say that, the seniors are more deserving of this gift card than the rest of our residents? And we do represent all our residents. I love our seniors, but we represent all our residents. So to me, the fairest way is another grocery gift card giveaway. That way we're not selecting the class of residents that we choose to give these cards to.
Economically, you do.
Economically, I can't decide who
You
is
know-
more deserving economically, Commissioner, than the one resident over another. I'm sorry to disagree with you on that.
Do we need a motion?
On the first one.
And we're not discussing economics of our residents at this time, sir.
Do we need a motion? I just want to move.
This is a discussion, a recommendation. We don't
Second.
need anything.
Second, call
There's no motion.
the question. That's
There's
it.
no motion necessary. This is not a motionable item. We've had the discussion and
It's a resolution.
I know, sir. I understand. I understand. Thank you.
Apparently, nobody does.
All right, so.
Because item A is obviously not in line with anybody's opinion, right?
Item A is correct, and item B is
It's the resolution.
the
Yeah.
resolution.
Right.
So A and B will be voided. They'll, if we're not going to give to the employees as written, then item A and B will be voided. I don't know if void is the right word, but they're not applicable at this time.
May I suggest something to
Sure.
keep it clean?
Mhm.
Obviously, I've heard that there is a consensus to allocate the dollars for the gift card program for our senior center program participants. As such, we can either tonight, if Mr. Villalobos deems it appropriate, amend the request for resolution that would authorize us to execute an agreement with the county, but to issue to community center Meals on Wheels and congregate participants, and which have been affected by COVID-19, and then the body of the resolution to go ahead and make the changes, remove the issuance of these grocery gift cards to city employees and interject the correct information based on what the commission is looking to approve, so that we don't carry this item back on the agenda.
Question,
Okay.
Madam Manager, we have
Madam-
senior center participants that are not City of West Miami residents, is that correct?
We have some, but they're not included in the 139.
Okay, thank you.
That is important.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
Madam Mayor,
yes, go ahead, sir.
the issue is that the amendment would be fine in theory, but the problem is that it would be a completely different resolution. I mean, you can friendly amend the resolution by having some items changed, but you're improvising a resolution which is not in the agenda. So the proper thing is to vote on the item A and item B, and if it's down, it's down, and bring it out in a orderly fashion at some other point.
Okay, that's exactly what we'll do.
Okay.
I'm sorry, just very briefly, because I know we're running on time. I mean, in the past, we've been able to, I mean, every government can bring a resolution to the table, and then, and you deal with it after, but the premise of the resolution can be voted on at the moment. Why can't that be done with this one? Why is this one different?
You're totally right, Mr. Vice Mayor, you can do that, but as I say, you have to make an amendment, a motion to just go ahead and bring that item to the table so we can have an idea what's going to be going on.
Well, Mr. Attorney, I'm going to yield to you, and we're going to vote on item A and B as written, and then we'll bring back the resolution, the proper resolution to vote on the next meeting.
Well, there might be an amendment by Vice Mayor, by the Vice Mayor, so I'd like to hear what he has to say, and we'll just go ahead and determine that.
Well, I mean, if I understood correctly, if I made a motion right now to approve a resolution allocating the $6,900 that was allocated for coronavirus aid to Meals on Wheels and Congregate Senior Center West Miami residents, right? If I made that resolution, it would take a 4/5 vote in order to put on the agenda, and then a 3/5 vote to pass it, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I will make that motion right now.
But we're going to be voting on a resolution that's not in front of us.
Correct.
I don't have that resolution in front of me.
I mean, we're voting to put it on the agenda and you need a 4/5 vote, and then afterwards it would require a 3/5 vote to pass it. So the resolution, the motion I'm making is to allocate the $6,900 that was previously allocated for these public gift cards to the general public, to allocate that money to a program for the Congregate and Meals on Wheels homebound delivery West Miami residents in our senior center program.
So
May I make a suggestion, Madam Mayor?
That resolution will be on my next agenda, is that correct? Because
No,
I'm not going to
now.
vote on a resolution that's not in front of me.
It would be now because it'd be 4/5. If I were to get a 4/5 vote.
Go ahead,
Mayor,
Mr. Attorney.
may I make a suggestion, please?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and read the item B, 11B, and you can have a friendly amendment to amend that and entertain the motion that Vice Mayor has.
And then the amended resolution will come before me next meeting?
Okay, I know Commissioner Blanca is running out of time here. I make the motion that I've made 2 times already.
I need the motion read. I need
On the
the
question, there is a motion.
I need the resolution read into the record before we make a motion on it. Madam Clerk, can you?
Okay.
Please.
Can you provide a title, please?
Okay, so item A it's part of the discussion. Item B is a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami approving a first amendment to interlocal agreement by and between Miami-Dade County, the county, and the city of West Miami, dated blank, which is a resolution, which is attached here too as Exhibit A, allocating the balance of the amount of $6,900 for the original allocation in the amount of $109,000 of the Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Security Act, which were earmarked for the purchase of public's gift card to be issued to city employees who had worked more than 30 hours and filled a budgeted position and have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, providing for effective date.
So
Now,
that will be amended. That will be amended where it says city employees who have worked more than 30 hours and filled a budgeted position who have been affected by COVID-19 pandemic will be amended to, Yolanda will give me the correct words, homebound, give me the right words.
We're aiming for the purchase of public's gift cards to be issued to City of West Miami senior citizen program, senior citizen participants who are residents of the City of West Miami and participate either in the congregate or homebound delivered meal program.
Okay, that's the motion.
Second,
And this is to put it on the agenda. Or no, this is amendment,
First,
Mr. Attorney,
yes.
right? So we don't need to put on the agenda.
I'm a little bit confused. You're voting not to put the item on the
No,
agenda, then you're gonna
no,
vote
well,
for the
well,
resolution,
well,
or just the resolution as amended?
The resolution as amended.
Uh-huh.
Apologies.
I am totally in disagreement how this process is taking place. Go ahead.
So we have a motion by Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón. We have a second by Commissioner Suarez. Can I call the vote, Madam Mayor?
Mr. Attorney?
What are we?
Are you
What
in
are we
agreement with this
guys voting
process?
on?
Are you
Before
in
you
agreement
call
with
it,
this process, Mr. Attorney?
You have to call the vote. I mean, if there's a motion and there's a
Go
second,
ahead, call the vote, Madam Clerk.
What?
Go ahead, Commissioner,
Can
yes.
someone clarify again what we're voting on exactly?
Exactly.
I'm kind of
Sure.
confused.
There's
Sure.
a lot of confusion.
There's a resolution that was drafted by, I guess, administration to give these gift cards that were left to the city employees, right? We had a discussion. Now, my motion is to go with Commissioner Suarez's recommendation of giving it to, allocating them to the people we already know exist of the homebound and congregate seniors who live
program
in the city of West Miami,
participants, right?
who live in the city of West Miami.
Thank you.
So motion by Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón, second by Commissioner Suarez. Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote? Commissioner Blanca?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes. Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
yes.
Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Absolutely not. I am not in agreement with the process that this amended resolution has taken and approved by my city attorney because he did not say otherwise. I am in absolute disagreement with this process. So my
We
vote.
have a 4-1
My vote is-
vote. We have a 4-1 vote. Item passes.
Next item.
And Madam Mayor, next item would be then item 11C.
Okay, prior to that,
Or would you like me to go back
prior to
to?
that, before you leave the dais, Commissioner Suarez, don't leave the dais yet. Commissioner Suarez, Commissioner Suarez, and Commissioner Blanes. Commissioner Blanca is about to leave the dais. I will lose quorum. I will either have to end the meeting now, or one of you has to come in to the chambers so that I have quorum to continue the meeting. I need to hear from you all. Commissioner Blanes, Commissioner Suarez, I am going to lose quorum.
I hear
need one
you.
of you to come into the chambers so that I can continue this meeting.
You mean one of us has to go physically there now?
I need to have quorum. I need to
I'm
have
not gonna be
three.
able.
I'm sorry,
I'm not going to be able to.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yeah, I will be there to finish this. What is it we need? All right, I'll go there.
Well, please hurry. Commissioner Blanca cannot leave till you arrive.
What?
Unless I take another break.
Yeah, take a 5 minutes break. I have to take my
Okay,
car and go
5-minute break.
there.
Thank you, Commissioner Blanca. 5-minute break.
Not jail, Commissioner. Oye, bienvenida.
Good night.
There's a point in everybody's life where you just don't want to get something. No matter how many times you repeat it, underline, yellow marker, whatever.
Have you gotten the vaccine yet, Elliot? You gotten the vaccine yet? Vaccine?
Close.
You got them too? Good for you. Good for you.
Waiting on my daughter who, my wife also is close, waiting on my 49-year-old daughter, not going to be 49 in May. She will get her second this Thursday.
Good. Very good.
But I predict that, not knowing anything about the present varieties, okay, and yet to come varieties, in the end, I believe that to really deal with this virus, we're going to all need to get yearly booster shots.
Yeah, well, I've been reading a lot on these nasal vaccines they're in testing now. They're in
I
testing,
know
but
they're talking about it, but right now, I like to go with that which is most proven.
no, I wouldn't take it now. But they're in clinical trials now.
Yeah, I know.
So by hopefully, if everything goes well, by
You're
March.
gonna have a lot of people refuse.
Right, but the only good thing about that is that as the variants come out, it's easier to distribute them.
Sure.
Right. So
You're absolutely right.
so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully that works out.
I don't know why there's so much conflict. I really don't.
But we're live here.
Well, no, I understand, candidly, I understand the mayor's initial wish. That started with the manager. That started with the manager.
You're mic'd up, everyone.
I don't care. I don't care. And it happens all the time. Should be, a lot of the time. Although this is the second time I saw you today.
All right, where'd it go?
But that wasn't easy, that was afternoon.
All right. Ay, going.
Okay, I got a message from Mr. Q that we are ready to begin, so I am calling this meeting back to order. Madam Clerk, I have in chamber Commissioner Suarez, Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón, and myself, Mayor Rhonda Rodriguez. So I have a quorum present to continue with the meeting.
Yes, Madam Mayor, 9:38, you're calling the meeting back to order. Commissioner Blanca is excused. So how would you like me to proceed, Madam Mayor? Would you like me?
Next item now.
Would you like me to read the next item, or would you like me to go back to the original order of the agenda with the items that we left pending?
Okay, you may do that. Let's go back to the original order of the agenda.
Okay, and we have pending under item 10, unfinished business, item 10A, report by the Office of the City Manager in reference to sanitation reserves as requested by Mayor Rodriguez at the March 3rd, 2021 meeting and postponed at the March 17, 2021 meeting.
I'd like you to also read B and C because they all.
Yeah, all those are
one has to
connected.
do with
Well,
the other. So let's
yes.
read B and D.
And C, and then you'll have a resolution, which
Correct,
we'll
correct.
read separately. So item B, follow-up report by the Director of Public Works on the cost for the garbage containers. This report was requested at the March 17 meeting. And item D, presentation and recommendation of financing agreement for the new garbage truck by the Office of the City Manager. This was postponed at the March 17 Commission meeting.
Would you like to go ahead and read the resolution also, Madam Clerk?
Item E.
Item
Okay,
E.
would you like me to read the resolution? Because I mean, when you discuss it, maybe the resolution will change or
not,
we'll
but
fill
okay,
in the
okay.
blanks.
Duly noted. No, duly noted. I hope it doesn't, but duly noted. Okay, so let's go. Let's start with A. Madam Manager.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the City Commission. At the March 3rd City Commission meeting, the mayor requested a report. We have issued a memo as of late this afternoon, and it should be in your agenda packet with the updated packet that serves to follow up on these different items that has been requested by our office. And in conjunction with my signature, there is a signature of the Director of Public Works, who also partook in the preparation of the memo. The status on the Sanitation Enterprise Fund reserves, and I'd like to touch upon that first. On October 1st, and it should be 2020, not 2021, October 1st, 2020, the beginning of this year's fiscal cycle, the City Sanitation Enterprise Fund had an unrestricted reserve balance in the amount of $81,000. Since then, we have encountered expenses with repairs to the sanitation truck and the rental of a sanitation truck that promised to reduce those reserves by an approximate amount of $60,000. We have had other equipment repairs in that enterprise fund. And although we have not posted all the revenues and expenses for the 6 months period for that fund, and barring any other catastrophic equipment failure, we project that we will end this fiscal year with a deficit of, with a fund balance anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000. Equipment will be addressed in the upcoming budget cycle. And if you want to take this by categories, you can ask any questions on this particular item that you may have at this time.
Continue, Madam Manager, go ahead and read the rest into the record. The rest
Okay.
of your memo.
The containers. At the March 17th City Commission meeting, by majority of the city commission members, the issue of the possibility of implementing the city issued containers for the garbage that was discussed was rejected overwhelmingly by the majority of the commission. We have not conducted an in-depth research on this issue due to the consensus that was basically made public and read into the record at that meeting. What we do know is that the container service with an equipped truck is being used by the city of Miami, by Miami-Dade County, and the city of South Miami. I believe, Mr. Penna, you made some phone calls or did some research on this. I'm sorry?
That's correct.
Okay. So what we would like is a direction from you, meaning the mayor and city commission, on which way we should proceed. In terms of doing what we call a feasibility study of the possibility of implementing now or in the near future the container service that would be issued by the city. Let's keep in mind that we are looking to finance a vehicle, an equipment truck that comes with that capability from what Juan explained previously to go to the system that is presently in use now to another type of system without hindering the employees' employment or anything like that. We need to look at the future and submit to you for your consideration that if it's not now, you may consider within the life of the truck that we're buying going to this system. So Mr. Penna is recommending that we purchase the truck with the feature that would allow the containers now or in the future, should the commission to change their mind. Because the garbage truck can be purchased without the feature, and I don't know what you call that, the
Tippers.
apparatus.
Tippers.
The what? The tippers.
Tippers.
Exactly. We can purchase the truck with the tippers or without the tippers. So I think that if we're going to be looking to finance this piece of equipment for 8 to 10 years, we need to look at the options that we have moving forward. If it's not now, if you're looking to do this and implement a program within the next 3 years, the next 5 years. So we want to know how you feel about the information that you have received so far. Obviously, the containers come at a great cost to the city, in the neighborhood of $109,000, Mr. Penna, give or take,
Correct.
108 or
approximately
100.
about $48 a can.
Right, $48 a can. So before we put pen to paper here and we finance a garbage truck or recommend that we finance the garbage truck, we can lessen the amount of the financing without the tippers and purchase a truck for maybe $15,000, $20,000 less, or purchase a truck with the tippers and be prepared to revisit the issue of the containers down the road. So that's something that you all need to give us some direction. And then in the final comment that we made regarding the financing of the garbage truck, we recommend that you authorize us to finance the garbage truck with the tippers or without the tippers based on your decision, using the proposal issued by City National Bank, which is now limited to a turnaround time for us to execute the proposal within 5 business days. The interest rate on that is 2.85%, and we would have the option of financing it for a total of 8 years or 10 years. We recommend that we take a 10-year financing plan and attempt to pay into principal every year as revenue permits and after evaluating our yearly budget projections. We can also reserve the option of paying off this truck in full once we receive our guidelines under the American Rescue Plan. And if this garbage truck purchase qualifies for the expenditure criteria. So we're looking at a couple of options here. And so we now turn it to you so that you could give us the directions.
Thank you, Madam Manager. I'll open it up to the table.
So let's take the tipper issue first, if I may. In terms of the tipper, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Penna or Madam Manager, whoever wants to take it, is you have the garbage cans, garbage containers, and the vehicle picks it up itself and throws it in the truck. Is that correct? Is that basically what it is, or can you explain it?
Yes, basically, you roll it out to the truck, to the back of the truck, just like the men would roll out the regular garbage container. Only this one's on wheels. You bring it out to the truck, place it in front of the tippers, and the tippers are actuated with a hydraulic system that's on the truck. Dumps it, brings it back down, and then it's rolled back to place.
So how is that different for the resident? Like how is the experience different for the resident? If
Well,
obviously
we,
we have to still put up the garbage.
correct. What we were proposing is to change the ordinance of where the container is placed so that we can bring it back into their yard and place it back on their, front.
We'd be able to do without the tippers, right?
I'm sorry?
Let's say in the future, we wanted to entertain that type of service. We could still do that without the tippers, right? Because like, for example, I'm very familiar with Coral Gables garbage operation. They don't even take the cans out of the side yard. They just take the garbage bags. So does the tipper really limit us from changing that service if we wanted to in the future?
The tipper prevents injuries to the employees because the containers hold much more capacity than the regular garbage can we allow now.
So that's the case regardless if we change service.
That's correct.
Okay.
But the containers that we allow now are only 30-gallon containers. The containers that are used for tippers are usually either the 45-gallon container or the 96-gallon container.
Okay.
I have a question now.
Go right ahead, sir.
Now, Yolanda, how much cost the truck without any new system?
I don't know the
A garbage truck that will substitute what we have now.
we're looking at about $165,000 to $170,000.
But 155,
No, 165, 165.
155?
165,000 to 170,000.
Let me clarify. From 165 to 170,000. Right?
Yes, that's an
Okay.
estimated price.
Okay, now, if you add all those equipments for the containers, how much cost?
188,000. 1 second.
$891.
There we go. 188,891.
So it would be about $30,000 more the truck.
No, it's about probably anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 less without the tippers.
Well, you told me 165 to 180 and then 180 to 180.
I
But
said
20,000
165,000 to 170,000.
Let's make
give or take.
the round number, 20,000 more.
Okay, 20,000 less without the tipper. With the tippers.
Answer, please. Let me answer you. You already spoke. Let me answer the question. The truck without the equipment will cost about 20,000 less than the truck with equipment for the containers, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, $20,000. Okay, now. The containers, how much cost the containers that Mr. Penn has been talking about?
$108,000 and change.
108. So it would be 128,000 more, the truck and the containers versus the truck without the containers and without the mechanism, right?
Yes, sir.
It's $128,000. Okay. So it's a lot of money, $120,000. Now, let's go to the point. I remember when Mr. Cooper was a mayor here, and somebody said that the garbage was in the alley behind the houses, and some people from the public works department used to go and pick up the containers or the cans, whatever, and put in the trucks. That was 20, 30, no, way before me. I'm here. So that was 40 years ago. But that system stopped because too many complications. And the system that we have now is about 30 years old or maybe more. And the residents are happy. Like in my block, there are a bunch of residents, including me, that we don't have too much garbage, and we put a small can or sometimes a plastic bag in front of the house, and these people come, they pick up those small things, they put in the truck, they take it away, and everybody's happy. Nobody complains about that. Nobody complains about that. And what we need physically is a new truck because the old truck is broken, it's too old. Now, with this idea to buy a new truck, has been at $128,000 more because the future and the system, the containers are in behind the house, are on the side of the house. We are going to complicate. And I learned in this country something that is very wise. Don't fix it if it's not broken. Or if it's not broken, don't fix it. So if the system we have now, the residents are happy with, like 10 years ago, we purchased, I remember we purchased a new truck. Everybody was happy, we have a new truck. That's it. Why is the complication to spend $128,000 more and complicate that the people put those containers in the back of the house, on the side of the house? Many people are old people. They cannot be pushing all containers around. I am totally opposed to this idea. Because I repeat, if it's not broken, don't fix it. The people are happy. Our residents are happy with the system we have now. Why is the idea to invent something that do not exist actually? And we have to go to spend $128,000 more and gain complication for our residents. We have a lot of residents that are seniors. And if it's on seniors, a lot of residents, they don't have the big houses like all the cities. This is a small city. And another point, if you see the buildings they created in the city of West Miami, these blocks that has been constructed, the buildings, in those blocks, sometimes they maybe was 20 houses or 20 duplex and were more garbage to pick up. Now, these new buildings that we have, the 67th Avenue and 57th Avenue and 8th Street, these buildings, they have their own system. They collect the garbage. We don't have to go there to pick up the garbage. They have their own system. So now we have less garbage to pick up than 20 years ago or 15 years ago or 7 years ago before the building was done. And now if we have less people that we have to pick up the garbage from them, why you try to make this idea to complicate the residents with a new system that is going to be more work for them and sometimes more impossibilities? Because the idea that the Public Works PENA presents, that he put the people containers on the back, on the side, in the alley, this is unreal. In Cooper's time was something like that, and that was 50 years ago. I'm totally opposed to this system. I think this is a crazy thing. Well, I'm sorry, it's not a crazy thing, but I don't want to offend nobody. Because the future, this truck is going to last 10 years. 10 years from now, 12 years from now, when the new truck had to be purchased, then 12 years ago from now, you let me know what happened in 12 years from now. But now don't bring in this moment to spend $128,000 more and create more complication with the neighbors. I think this idea is a very, I don't want to say anything that offends nobody, but I'm totally opposed to the system. I think the system will not work for us. I think the system we have now, the residents are happy and we should keep the way around. And remember, $128,000 is a lot of money. And we are going to, or somebody here spend that money. And if you ask the neighbors, they are happy. And I don't think the people who works in the garbage department, or maybe we have to hire more people, or maybe the people, they will be very disappointed. I don't know the result of that new work. This is totally out in my concept. This out of the practical thing to do. And the money is spent without a reason.
Can I ask one more question? And that's pretty much the only thing I need to know left. Let's say we all got voted out tomorrow and a future commission wanted to do it. Is it a separate truck or is it an add-on that could later be added on to the truck if they, somebody wanted to?
It's an add-on.
Okay, so technically, if you wanted to go and move into a different program later on, it could be added on, right?
That's
It
correct.
wouldn't be financed. Okay,
That's correct.
all right.
Madam Clerk, please read item E.
Item E is a resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with, and this is blank, for the purpose of financing a garbage truck described as a 2021 International Harvester chassis and a 32 cubic yard heel refuse rear loaded body from Rectin in the amount of $188,891 at a rate of blank for a period of blank years as approved by resolution 2021-09, approved by 5-0 vote of the mayor and city commissioner at the March 3rd, 2021 regular city commission meeting, to be funded by the city's sanitation enterprise fund reserves for year one of the agreement, instructing the city manager to include the financing of the truck as a debt service every year as part of the city's sanitation enterprise fund capital outlay account number 600, providing for an effective date. This item was postponed at the March 17 commission meeting.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
Madam Mayor, I understand that the manager had amended this resolution and put, you cannot approve a resolution that is blank.
I was just going to ask her, Madam Manager, please fill in the blanks.
Okay, the blanks are as follows. The city of West Miami would enter into an agreement with City National Bank for the purpose of financing the garbage truck at an interest rate of 2.85% for a period that we are recommending of 10 years versus 8 years.
The other thing, Madam Mayor, is that I thought that we had stated that that particular truck would cost $160,000, Madam.
That is correct, sir, and approximate. I don't have the exact price, Mr. Penna. Do you have an exact price for the garbage truck without the tippers?
I believe the tippers, it was a $17,000 ticket item, so it would be the 188 minus the 17,000.
Well, then you have to add that particular item, Madam Mayor, Madam Manager.
Okay, so that would be City National Bank would be the lending institution at an interest rate of 2.85% for a period of 10 years for a total purchase price of $171,000.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question. This truck that you are proposing, you read in the resolution, $188,000. That include the pieces?
The tippers, yes.
Yeah, well,
But that's not the resolution that we're talking. On your point, Commissioner, on your point, what Yolanda, correct me if I'm wrong. What we are going to be voting on is the $171,891 for the truck that does not include the tippers.
Correct.
Okay.
I want to clarify this because the time that this issue came to the table, the first time, myself, about talking about the truck, and was a confusion for me, and I heard in this table, another commissioners also were confused with this. And if this is the price with the implements to get the containers, even you said that this resolution was approved unanimous. this was a confusion resolution, and more than me expressed in the last meeting that the vote was a confusion. And I vote against this price. And because if I vote yes in that time, I present that we should clarify the price without, in my opinion, in my motion, my acceptance is the 165, like you said, no 188,000 without those implements. Because you, in this price, you're talking about the implements, it's about $20,000 more. And then this $20,000 more.
Who wants to take this so we can
I'll do
finally clarify,
I'll do it.
please?
So-
Somebody, no. Madam Manager, Mr. Penna, somebody
Make a motion.
clarify this, please, now, once and for all.
Okay,
Again,
Commissioner
the-
Suarez, I need you to pay it, Elliot, excuse me, Commissioner Suarez, I need you to pay attention to the answer that you're going to be given right now. I need you to
The
pay
pro-
attention to the answer. Madam
The pro-
Manager, please
price of-
clarify.
Well, if it's the, if this is,
Commissioner, let the manager answer your question and listen to the answer. Madam Manager,
Okay.
please provide the
the
information.
resolution had a price tag on it for $188,891 for the truck with the tippers. This resolution that you're considering now has a purchase price of $171,000, and it does not contemplate the tippers, nor does it contemplate the containers.
Thank you.
None
I
of
need
that
a
is being
motion.
considered.
Thank you. I need a
Okay.
motion.
no, but I don't understand that, her answer. This
Okay,
is,
one more time, Madam Manager,
Okay.
please, one more time. This
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
last time, and then I'm gonna ask for a motion.
Okay,
Repeat what you said.
the original agenda item contemplating this resolution had a price tag of $188,891 for a refuse truck, a garbage truck. That price contemplated a truck that was equipped with tippers. The revised amount that is being offered here as an amendment to that resolution would be a purchase price of a garbage truck in the amount of $171,000 without the tippers, just the truck alone, so that we can continue the service that we provide currently.
I need a motion.
Okay,
is that clear, Mayor?
I
Mayor.
need a motion on this
No,
item.
I need you to tell me you clear in that amount.
Sir, I've been clear.
Because you told me you
Sir, I
just
have
looked at
been
the number.
clear on this from the manager's opening statement.
I'm gonna make a motion, and that's to be very, very clear. I motion as amended, item E, to enter into agreement with what's the
City
bank,
National.
Yolanda? The City National Bank,
Bank.
for a period of 10 years at a rate of 2.85% in the amount of $171,000 for the truck that does not include the tippers or the equipment or any of the add-ons.
All right, that's clear enough.
I need a second.
Second.
I call the vote, Madam Clerk.
Motion,
Okay. I'm sorry, who made the second?
I did.
Commissioner
Vice
Blanes?
Mayor,
Okay, Commissioner
Vice Mayor
Blanes.
Padron made the motion. Commissioner Blanes made the second.
Blanes the second. Okay, can I call the vote, Madam Mayor?
Yes, please.
Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
yes,
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes,
4-0, item passes.
thank you. Next item.
Next item would be item 11C, which is a report of bid tally for the City of West Miami City Hall and Community Center pavers project by City Clerk. And on February 25th, 2021 at 2 p.m., the City Hall and Community Center curb and pavers replacement project bid was opened, and one bid was received from Southeastern Engineering Contractors in the amount of $70,152.20. That'll be item C. That concludes my report. Can I go to the next item, Madam Mayor?
Yes,
Item
please.
D?
It has to do with, yes, it has to do.
Yes,
with
yes, it has to do with the report.
Yes, please read it.
Item 11D is a report and recommendation by the Office of the City Manager and Director of Public Works on the scope of the work advertised under the bid and recommendation by the Office of the City Manager to reject the bid submitted by Southeastern Engineering in the amount of $70,152 and 20 cents. Let me correct this, the cents amount for the City of West Miami City Hall and Community Center pavers by City Manager and Director of Public Works.
Taking the recommendation of staff, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? No one opposed? Next item.
And item 11E, it's a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami.
You have to say, hello,
Yes,
Sir, that was a report only. That was a report and recommendation.
no,
Uh,
are we talking about item E, as in E?
No, sir. Item C and D.
Okay,
C and D, I read, I'll read the resolution right now, if you allow me.
okay.
Go right ahead now.
Okay. Item 11E is a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami accepting the recommendation by the Office of the City Manager, rejecting the bid submitted by Southeastern Engineering in the amount of $70,152.20 as prescribed by the City of West Miami Code of Ordinances under Section 273, titled Authority to Reject All Bids, and authorizing the Office of the City Manager to re-advertise for the work as prescribed by the bid, providing for effective date.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Thank you. I need a second. I have a first and a second. Call the vote.
Yes, Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón,
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez,
Yes.
4-0, item passes. Next
Okay.
item would be item 11F, which is a report of bid tally for the City of West Miami Cooper Park gazebo roof replacement project by City Clerk. And on March 25th, 2021 at 2 p.m., the Cooper Park gazebo roof replacement project bid was opened publicly, and one bid was received from Building Unlimited Inc. in the amount of $44,600. That concludes my report, item F. And
Mike, I'm sorry.
yes,
I do want to comment on that. If we just rejected one that only had one bid, I might recommend we do the same for this. Heck, we only have one bid on this as well.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes, please.
we sent it out to the majority of roofing companies out here in Miami-Dade County. That only one submitted a bid is not a reason to reject it. The previous one was rejected because we thought it was too expensive for the work that we wanted done in front of City Hall. This work at Cooper Park is going to entail the replacement of all the rotted wood and damaged wood from termites. So it is an extensive project, and eventually once it's rebuilt, it will get a new metal roof on it to match the rest of the buildings that we have in the recreation center. So this is a good price for the kind of work that entails over there, because it's almost complete replacement of all the wood in the gazebo.
It's a little tiny gazebo, Mr. Penner, for $44,000. That's not a big gazebo.
It's a big gazebo. It's a 30-foot gazebo, and that's a very big gazebo.
All right, let's hear from the table.
Madam Manager, do you have a recommendation on this?
I do. And I suggest that we go forward. I was talking to Mr. Penna this afternoon. Building Unlimited has done excellent work for the city and other public facilities at the recreation center. And we have not had any issues with the roof. I think that the price, and I think I discussed this with the mayor, the price is always higher when you require a bid bond, because that has a tremendous cost to the contractor, but that also protects the city. So we have the money. This money is coming from impact fee. We showed in the transfer into the general fund, and we're expensing it out of the parks account in the general fund, 575, 600. This is not taxpayer dollars. This is impact fee dollars. And
Okay,
I think that we should move forward before the rainy season as well, because we've got a lot of rotten wood. We have termites and we have leaks in there.
so
So
just one question. I rejected the pavers bid because it was because of the price. I do like to have multiple bids, but I also know, there are restraints with that. How much higher than market is this price for that work? I say market, I mean a private, if you were a private person, didn't require a bid bond and all that. How much?
you're dealing with
Obviously,
yeah.
you didn't actually go quote it, so an estimate, how much higher is this price than market?
I can tell you that it is a metal roof, so it's going to cost probably maybe, I want to say, if we go with shingle, we could be saving
No. I'm not saying change of material. I'm saying you said that it is more expensive because of things that we have to do, right?
because of the compliance. The contractor has to go out and buy a bond, and that basically escalates the price. Maybe by waiving the requirement of that bid bond, but we have required this every single time on these large projects, and I think that's a big ticket item that the city should preserve, and it protects us. It really does.
Yeah, I guess my ultimate question, without being so eloquent, is: are we getting ripped off here, or is it a good price? I guess that's the meat of it. Are we getting ripped off or not?
And-
Because if we're not
and-
getting ripped off, then let's move forward.
In
Again,
today's, go ahead, Juan.
The average price out of a regular home, nowadays you're looking anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000, depending on the materials you use. And this is basically a very hard area to work in because of the elevation of the gazebo. So there's scaffolding and all kinds of other apparatuses that need to be brought in to be able to redo the gazebo roof. So I believe the price is very, very fair.
I agree with Mr. Pena's assessment on this.
All right, those are my own questions.
Anybody else? Madam Clerk, read the resolution.
Item 11G, resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami, authorizing the city manager to accept a bid from Building Unlimited, Inc. for a total amount of $44,600 for the purpose of accomplishing the Cooper Park gazebo roof replacement project, providing for funding from account 575-600 General Fund, Parks Division Recreation Center impact fees, providing for effective date.
I guess I'll motion it.
You guys know the routine. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Call the vote.
Commissioner Blanes, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
4-0, item passes.
Next item.
Next item, item 11H, report on costs associated with the modifications to bring certain traffic circles into compliance as per Miami-Dade County Division of Transportation and Public Works in a letter dated January 22nd, 2021 by Director of Public Works and City Manager.
Thank you. I think I want to yield to Mr. Pena so he could talk to you about the scope of the work involving the modification to the famous traffic circles that we need to bring into compliance pursuant to that letter from Miami-Dade County. Juan, can you talk about the work that needs to be done? It's not only the change out of the signs, correct?
That's correct. The sign or the traffic circles, when the stop signs went up, additional striping went in to meet the standard for stop signs. And now if we're removing the stop signs, we also have to change the striping. So the striping increases the cost of the work. We have a proposal from one I forgot the name of the company. I don't have the paperwork with me. One Way Signs, something like that. And then another one from McGulp Inc. The one from One Way is the cheaper alternative, which is 14,000, which comes out to about $2,000 per circle.
One-way striping, Mr. Penna, one-way
One way
striping.
striping, correct,
It was 15.9.
correct.
And then there's another, and there's another proposal from McGulk Inc. for 21,900.
That's correct. And that was using the prices that we have in the current potable water project that has striping and signage in it.
Now, I maybe I don't have the updated agenda. I don't see a resolution. These weren't bids that we're deciding on today, or this report?
No, this is a report because we recently received the resolution and the second proposal. And we did not prepare a resolution or actually request a resolution for Mr. Villalobos to prepare on this item. Now, what I would recommend that we use is, I think we'll be eligible to use our PTP money for the restoration work or the rehab work in connection with bringing these street signs up to par and doing the modification. So I would proffer that to the city attorney to prepare a resolution for the next commission meeting so that we can accept the lower proposal on this and identify the funding mechanism.
Just a comment, Madam Mayor and Madam Manager. I need the backup of any and all resolutions that you want me to prepare with time for me to prepare, okay?
That's what I'm saying for the next commission meeting, Mr. Villalobos, and all
Yes,
the backup is contemplated in this packet, sir.
Okay, but I need it before the meeting so I can prepare.
That's why it was not asked of you for this meeting, sir.
May I finish, please? I just want to put in the record that I don't want the documentation come to me 48 hours before the commission meeting. That's what I mean.
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have item 12, consent agenda items. And this item is, I mean, it gets
I need a
compiled to
motion on the
one.
consent-
Yes,
I need a
motion,
motion
a
on the
second.
consent agenda items.
Motion.
Second,
Call the vote.
Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes,
yes.
Vice Mayor Diaz-Padrón,
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez,
Yes.
4-0, item passes.
Next item.
Item 13, good of the order.
Upon hearing nothing, this meeting is adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Good night. Oye, hablé con